Today is the 28th of June 2024, and this will be our fifth video on algebraic expressions and solutions. Okay, I've watched last video for recap. I've done expansions. I did earlier on some algebraic expressions for the foundation students. I just want to add a bit more so that if those in the higher set, they writing the higher paper, can maybe answer some more difficult questions. Okay, in every year some of these questions come, and at times they carry as much as 5 marks, and you don't want to be losing those marks. So watch last video for recap. Thank you to everyone who have subscribed to my channel. I appreciate it a lot. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. When you receive our videos, help us share it, like it, and follow us on some platform like Twitter, Rumble. It will be appreciated a lot. If the account is not yours, please ask permission from the account holder. It's the right thing to do. Okay, and or ask somebody else to help you. Okay, I believe in doing right stuff. You see in the comment section, please follow my notes last script. Please follow the notes. You can't go wrong. If there's something wrong with the notes, I would come and tell you. Okay, beware of scammers. It's very, very important. Beware of scammers. We are not soliciting for funds on this platform, so please beware of scammers. If somebody duplicate this video, create another channel, they want money, I'm not asking for donations, okay, for any charity or for anything. Please beware of that. As I said, I'm doing more algebraic questions. We've done expansion, we've done factorization, and I did some questions with you. Okay, there are still a few things I have to look at under algebra. Okay, so I'm going to just go straight. Okay, to help us start today's lesson, I've done factorization with like x squared plus a second term plus a third square. Today I want to look at what if the x squared has a number in front. How do you solve that? Okay, how do you get the factors? It's the same as I showed you when the coefficient is 1. Okay, but here it is 4. Okay, so you have x squared plus 17x plus minus 15. The 17x, why am I breaking it down to plus 20x minus 17? Because I could have written 19x minus 2x, okay, but plus 20x minus 3x, when you add them together, you get 17x. So actually, in place of 17x, we are putting 20x minus 3x. But how did I arrive at this decision? Okay, so now 4 times minus 15 is minus 60. Okay, so minus 3 times 20 will give me 17. So in place of 17 plus 17x, I'll write plus 20x minus 3x. Okay. Immediately I'm able to do these steps and break the factor right. Then I can solve factorize. Okay, so it's the same process whether the coefficient is 1 or 4 or any number. It's easier when it's 1 because you can easily see that if you are good at your timetable. But if it's more than 1, 2, you should be able to see that. If not, then we have to use the quadratic equation as I taught you earlier to solve. Okay, so now we have 4x plus 20x. So I'm going to bring 4x out, and then I have x into bracket x plus 5. Okay, because 4x times x will give me 4x squared. 4x times 5 will give me 20x. Okay, so in this bracket is x plus 5. So in the second bracket too, there should be an x plus 5. But I need to get a number here. So to get x plus 5 in the bracket, I have the only number I can see from these two last terms is minus 3. So minus 3 times x will give me minus 3x. Minus 3 times 5 will give me minus 15. So now, the bracket first, x plus 5, and then the second one is 4x minus 3. Okay, so from this one, I factorized to here. As I said, the reverse, the expansion is easier because you just multiply using the first term with the second bracket, the second term with the second bracket. But you need to take note of the signs. But breaking the factors, the middle term, when you're factorizing, at times it's difficult to see for students. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So today we are doing factorization with terms more than 1, the coefficient of the first term more than 1. Okay, now let's look at this. 6x plus x minus 15. Okay, so 6x. Now I've broken the s into 10x minus 9x. So when I add 10x minus 9x, I get x. But how did I arrive at that? 6 times minus 15. Here, 6 times minus 15. Okay, will give me minus 90. So 10 and 9. So if I make it plus 10 minus 9, then I'll have x. So in place of x, I'll put a plus 10 minus 9. Okay, so now I have 4 terms now. The first 2 terms, okay, 6x, 2x out, then I have 3x minus 5. So that 2x times 3x will give me 6x squared. And then 2x minus 5 times minus 5 will give me 10x. So now I know what is in the bracket, 3x minus 5. So I create another bracket, 3x minus 5. I need a term here When I multiply by 3x minus 5, I'll get minus 9x minus 15. The only term is 3, minus 3. So I have minus 3 times 3x will give me minus 9x. Minus 3 minus 5 will give me minus 15. No, that would be 3x plus. Okay, because if you look at the first one, I had to pause and think about it. Yeah, so 2x, okay, because this is plus here, so it should be 3x plus 5, and then there should be another 3x plus 5. So minus 3 times 3x will give me minus 9x, and then minus 3 plus 5 will give me minus 15. If it's minus, it will not be true, so take care of the sign. Okay, so now I have 3x plus 5 here, and then 2x minus 3 there. Okay, that is algebra for you. Okay, so it's 3x plus 5. Now let's look at a few examples. Those are the starters, but I just brought them to start the day. So now, in factorization, the main thing is to break the middle term down. Okay, now we don't have y squared, we have 5y squared. So what can I use to break 16y down? Minus 16y to get 16y in the middle. So my choice here was minus 15y minus y, which when I add up will give you minus 16y. So I have 5 here and I have 3. Okay, so 3 times 5 times 3 is 15. So now 15, if I have 15, then minus 15 times minus 1 will give me a plus 15. But if I add them, then I'm going to get minus 16. So I'll go with minus 15y minus y, so that I haven't done anything to the middle term. Okay, so now the first two terms, 5y into bracket y minus 3. Okay, so I have 5y squared minus 15y. So there should be another y minus 3 in a bracket. What do I need to put here? So that minus y plus 3. Okay, so minus y times y will give me minus 1 plus y times y will give you minus y. Minus 1 times minus 3 will give me plus 3, because minus 1 minus 3. Okay, so now y minus 3 will be in one bracket, 5y minus 1 will be in the second bracket. If I have to expand, go back to this point, this will be it. So I factorize from here to there. So it's still the same, okay? It gets the same process, okay? So now 12y squared, that will be our next example, plus y minus 1, okay? How am I going to break the middle term? I have a 12 and I have a minus 1. So if 12 times minus 1 will give me minus 12. Okay, now I've broken it down to plus 4y minus 3y. So plus 4 minus 3. If I multiply together, I'll get minus 12. 4y minus 3y. If I add together, I'll get y. Okay, so if you keep on doing this, you need a good knowledge of your timetable and a good knowledge of your factors. So it doesn't matter which level you are with maths, you need a very good, especially with algebra, you need a very good knowledge of your times table. Otherwise, you'll be always, you need to be one step ahead. You get what I mean? Okay. So now you have 4y out into bracket 3y plus 1. Okay. So 3y, so let's see, 4y times 3y will give us 12y squared. 4y times 1 will give us 4y. So if this is true, I need a second bracket 3y plus 1, because whatever is in this bracket should repeat itself. The only term I can find will be minus 1, because minus 1 times 3y will get me back to minus 3y. Minus 1 times 1 will get me minus 1. Okay, so this step is right, that step is right. So the two terms in the bracket are right. So my first bracket will be 3y plus 1. And then my second one will be 4y minus 1. There, so that will be my answer. So I factorize. Let's look at the third one. Okay. Now, another one, 6y squared plus 31y plus 40. Don't get intimidated by the huge numbers. So how do I break the middle term down? Okay, so here I've written 15y plus 6y. Okay, 15y plus 16y, not 6. 16y will get me back to 31y. Okay, but how did I do that? 6 times 40 will give me 240. Okay, I've written it here. So in your answer booklet, you can write these little things. Okay, so 6 times 40 is 40. So 15 times 16 is 240. Okay, so if I write plus 15y plus 16y, then it will be 31. So in place of 31, I'll write 15y plus 15y plus 16y. Remember what we are doing, the signs are important. So now I can bring in the bracket. So I'll use my first two terms. If I bring 3y out, 2y plus 5, which will give me 6y squared, which is the first term here. 3y plus 5 will give me 15y. Okay, so now 2y plus 5 I have to repeat it in the second bracket. So I need a number here so that these two terms, if I multiply back, I'll get 16y plus 40 and it's plus 8. Okay, so 8 times 2y will be 16y. 8 times 5 will be 40. So now 2y plus 5, because both brackets should have the same term, 2y plus 5. What is left is 3y plus 8. So my answer will be 3y plus 8. 2y plus 5 are factorized. Okay. Now let's look at another one more. These are things you need to go and look at them carefully. If you can break down the middle term, you are good, and then you can find what is in the first bracket. You can repeat it whilst you use your knowledge of factors and timetable to find the rest. Is that okay? Now let's look at this. Okay, 8y, my 8y squared minus 10y minus 3. So what will I put in place of minus 10y? I've put minus 12y plus 2y, because minus 12y plus 2y will get me back to minus 10y. How did I arrive at this choice? Because I could have written minus 6y plus 4y. Okay, so now 8 times minus 3 is 24. So I need two terms. When I multiply together, will give me minus 24. And when I add up, which will give me minus 10, which is my middle term. So the only numbers I can think of is minus 12y minus 2, because minus 12 plus 2, if I multiply, will give me minus 24, which is 8 times minus 3. So I've broken the middle term down. Next step. Now, 8y minus 12y. So I'm taking the first two terms. Okay, so if I bring 2y minus 3 into the first bracket, my outside number will be 4y. So that when I multiply 4y times 2y, I have 8y squared. 4y times minus 3, I have 12y. Now, because 2y minus 3 is here, I'm going to repeat the same for the second bracket, 2y minus 3, because the terms in the bracket has to be the same. What do I have to put here so that these two terms, when I multiply back, I'll get a 2y minus 3 plus 1. Okay, if I put plus 1 here, plus 1 times 2y will give me 2y. Plus 1 times minus 3 will give me minus 3. So now, my first term is 2y minus 3 there. You can also put it here. You can interchange it. They are multiplying, they're in bracket. It's like a plus b equals b plus a. So whether this comes first or not, it doesn't matter. And then 4y plus 1. So that will be my factorization. Okay. So go and think about it. So I've done expansion with you. And last lesson, we look at some questions. Okay, now today I'm doing factorization with you with terms or the first term greater than 1. So you're not just having y squared. What if you have 6y squared, or 8x squared, or 12 y squared? It should be a quadratic equation though. The highest factor should be y squared. If not, it's not a quadratic equation. Go and have a look. Think about it, okay? Please subscribe, share, like, and follow. If the account is not yours, ask permission, please, or open your own account. And follow my notes/script. It's very important. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of terms and numbers, and it's a bit mouthful. So please follow my notes. Okay, you won't go wrong that way. Beware of scammers. Okay, thank you for joining me today video, and I'll see you in the next.